Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and a quick news bite today, because I found some interesting news on Empire, the magazine, not the Imperial Empire, the Galactic Empire. So let's have a look, shall we? Here we go. Hang on, where are we? There we go. And it says, Guillermo Del Toro shares never-before-seen At the Mountains of Madness footage. At the Mountains of Madness, obviously the famous book. Did H.P. Lovecraft actually write novels, or there were more short stories, weren't there, or novellas? But anyway, it's a great story. Anyway, I've read it, and it's a film that often been people have said make it into a movie, and it's never been made into a movie. The closest we've got is John Carpenter's The Thing. But anyway, let's have a read. Right, where are we? Just move this up there a little bit. There we go. Right, it's a good year to be a Guillermo Del Toro fan. Not only did 2022 kick off with his excellent Nightmare Alley adaptation, which I've never heard of, is that on Netflix? And its black and white version, but we got a Halloween treat in the Netflix anthology he curated, Guillermo Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, which were pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. For the most part, some of it were 8 different stories. Yeah, there were 8, weren't there? 8 different stories, all with a horror leaning to them, and a couple of those were based on Lovecraft stories, and they were actually a couple of the good ones. And there was one other one with David Hewlett from Stargate. That were a good one. The Graveyard Rats, that were a good one. But some of them were a bit iffy, but most of them were pretty good. Right, plus he's finally about to unleash his long-awaited stop-motion Guillermo Del Toro's Pinocchio on the world, which it'll be weird, won't it? It won't be like Disney. But if you'll permit us to be just a little bit entitled for a second, we'd love to see even more from the director. There's an especially compelling list of the Guillermo Del Toro projects that got away. The never-made Hellboy 3. I wish he'd do that, because it ended on a cliffhanger, didn't it, Hellboy 2? His Haunted Mansion movie, which I'm not bothered about, and his H.P. Lovecraft adaptation At the Mountains of Madness, the latter of which remains a particularly mythical, unrealised film. Now, for the first time, Del Toro has released a look at some test footage for At the Mountains of Madness. Shared on Instagram, he described it as an all-CGI test for a rig created by the ILM team a decade ago. Take a look for yourself here. And there's the link for the Instagram. But I've actually got the video here, so we'll have a look at that. It doesn't last long. So are you ready? There you go. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's it. This is obviously this must be early on in the story of At the Mountains of Madness. What happens? A bit like in The Thing. These Antarctic explorers, they find a base that's been ravaged. Everybody's missing, and then they find a creature. Sort of like frozen in ice, and it comes alive and kills not kills everybody, but kills some of the people, and then some of the other scientists and stuff and explorers go in a plane and they set off across the Mountains of Madness. They fly across a mountain range and they see all these ruins of an ancient antediluvian city that's like millions of years old, and they see creatures such as this in the city. Oh, you can't see it for that. Where is it? Oh, do it wrong thing. There we go. There it is. There, you see a creature such as that. And I say it's very Lovecraftian, tentacles and claws and weird stuff going on. I think is it a Shoggoth? Is that what they call them in the book? I can't actually remember. But in the book they're described as the kind of like lesser beings that serve the great old ones. And they were around millions of years ago, before man walked the earth. Right, so let's carry on reading this article. Right, where were we? Right, as you'd expect from Del Toro, there's some mind-bending monster imagery here. He really is an ideal director to take on Lovecraft's unfathomable cosmic horrors, a chilly location that brings to mind The Thing, and nightmarish tentacular action that recalls the beasts waiting in Frank Darabont's adaptation of The Mist. And what does it show? In just 25 seconds of fully CGI concept footage is that we're still aching for At the Mountains of Madness to actually exist at some point. Hey, we'll also take Hellboy 3 while you're at it, please. Does Del Toro have more footage? Where that came from? Will he ever return to Lovecraft for an upcoming project? And where does he go post-Pinocchio? Stay tuned to see what the legendary director does next. And it makes me think, because he's released this, is this a hint that maybe he's signed some sort of deal with Netflix to do a version of At the Mountains of Madness? I hope so. Because there were a couple of Lovecraft stories in Cabinet of Curiosities. That's and he likes his Lovecraft, and it's a thing he's long wanted to do, and I hope he gets round to it, because, to be honest, we saw him in Cabinet of Curiosities. He introduced each episode, and he doesn't look well. He's a big chap, and he doesn't look well to me, but so I hope he's going to be, I hope he gets better, and makes this film, or at the very least produces it, and he has a big hand in the production. So anyway, so I just thought I'd share that, because At the Mountains of Madness is one of my favourite stories. It's a great book. You can get it on Kindle. You can get like the whole works of Lovecraft on Kindle for next to nothing, and it's in there, and you can read it. It won't take you too long. It's not, like I say, Lovecraft stories aren't massively long. It's probably why they're so popular. But At the Mountains of Madness is his magnum opus. It's his most famous story, and I think it's probably the best one, along with Call of Cthulhu and Reanimator, thanks to the film. But yeah, so I hope that's a clue that we're going to see some At the Mountains of Madness action in the not too distant future. Maybe he'll release some more footage. I hope so. But this is from like 10 years ago, so but hopefully it's a clue that something's going to happen. But yeah, so we'll leave it there. That's all I wanted to say about that. So a quick news bite. So wherever you are in the universe or beyond, with the great old ones or the elder ones, whatever they're called, I can't remember. Look after each other, and until next time, I'll see thee.